I never thought I'd be the kind of man who'd freeze completely when a text message was read aloud. But when my car's Bluetooth cheerfully announced, "Message from Dr. Marcus. Can't wait to feel you again tonight. Beautiful. Last week was incredible." While my wife sat in the passenger seat, something inside me just stopped. The traffic light turned green. Cars honked behind me, and I just sat there, hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead into nothing. My name's David. I'm 34, work in commercial real estate, and I'd been married to Jennifer for 6 years. We met in college, got married young. I was 28, she was 26. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. Compatible life goals, similar backgrounds, that easy chemistry that makes other couples jealous. We bought a townhouse in suburban Portland 3 years ago. White picket fence stream, right down to the golden retriever we named Bailey. Jennifer worked as a dental hygienist at a practice downtown. She'd been there for about 4 years, loved her job, loved her patients, loved her coworkers. She'd come home with stories about difficult cleanings, nervous kids she'd calmed down, elderly patients who treated her like a granddaughter. I loved how passionate she was about her work. It was one of the things that made me fall for her. She cared deeply about everything she did. About 8 months ago, the practice hired a new dentist, Dr. Marcus Holloway. Jennifer mentioned him casually at dinner one night. "We got a new dentist today. Young guy, just finished his residency, pretty good with patients." I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? Workplaces hire people all the time. Over the following weeks, his name started appearing more frequently in her stories. "Dr. Holloway handled this root canal so smoothly today. Marcus, Dr. Holloway, he's got this technique for anxious patients that's really effective." I noticed she started calling him Marcus instead of Dr. Holloway, but they worked together every day. Of course, they'd be on a first-name basis. Then came the appointments. Jennifer had always been meticulous about her dental health, ironic given her profession, or maybe because of it. She got her cleanings done at the practice, usually by one of her coworkers during lunch breaks. But about 6 months ago, she mentioned she was scheduling actual appointments with Dr. Holloway. "I've got a small cavity he wants to monitor," she explained when I asked why she needed appointments when she literally worked there. "It's easier to do it properly in a scheduled slot than try to squeeze it in during lunch." Made sense. I didn't question it. The appointments became regular. Every 2 weeks, sometimes weekly. He wants to make sure the filling is settling properly. Then, he's noticed some sensitivity, wants to check the surrounding teeth. Then, preventive follow-up, just being thorough. I'm not a dentist, but even I started thinking that seemed like a lot of appointments. When I mentioned it, Jennifer got slightly defensive. "David, I work in dental care. I know what proper treatment looks like. Marcus is just very thorough. That's what makes him a good dentist." I dropped it. I trusted her. That was my first mistake. But looking back now, I realized the appointments weren't the only thing that had changed. There were other signs, small shifts I'd convinced myself were nothing. The thing about betrayal is that it doesn't announce itself with sirens and flashing lights. It creeps in through tiny cracks, and you patch them over with trust and benefit of the doubt until the whole structure is rotten underneath. Jennifer started paying more attention to her appearance. New clothes, more form-fitting, more stylish than her usual practical work, scrubs and casual wear. She joined a gym, which I actually encouraged because I thought it was great. She was prioritizing her health. She started doing her makeup differently, spending extra time on her hair in the mornings. When I complimented her, told her she looked beautiful, she'd smile and say, "Just trying to take better care of myself." I felt like a supportive husband. God, the irony. Her phone became an extension of her hand. We'd always been pretty open about devices, passwords shared, phones lying around unlocked. But she started taking hers everywhere. Bathroom, kitchen, when making coffee, even just stepping outside to check the mail. One evening, I picked it up to see what time it was because mine was charging upstairs, and she practically lunged across the couch to take it from me. "I've got it," she said quickly, that bright, tight smile. "I was just checking something. The late work hours started about 4 months ago. Dr. Holloway wants me to help with some patient education materials we're developing. Or, we're reorganizing the supply inventory. It's a mess." Always legitimate sounding reasons. Always involving late evenings at the office, sometimes until 8 or 9 at night. Our sex life changed too. Not the frequency, that actually increased, which confused me. But the energy of it. She'd initiate more often, be more adventurous, try things we'd never done before. I remember thinking maybe the gym was boosting her confidence. Maybe we were entering some new phase of our marriage. I felt grateful, excited even. I didn't realize she was probably imagining someone else, using me as a safe practice ground for techniques she'd learned with him. The thought makes me physically sick now. The dental appointments continued, like clockwork. Every Tuesday afternoon, sometimes Thursday. "Marcus squeezed me in," she'd say. I'd see the appointments on the shared family calendar. Dental, 3 p.m. Professional, routine, innocent. 3 weeks before everything fell apart, I came home early from a site inspection that got canceled. Jennifer was in the shower, which was odd because it was 2 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. She came out wrapped in a towel, surprised to see me. "Hey, didn't expect you home so early. Site meeting got canceled. Why are you showering? It's the middle of the day." "Oh," she laughed, casual as anything. "I went to the gym during lunch, felt gross, wanted to rinse off before my appointment with Marcus later." An appointment. Another one. I glanced at the calendar, nothing marked. "Didn't see that on the schedule," I said lightly. "Last minute thing. He had a cancellation, texted me this morning." I nodded. Believed her. Why wouldn't I? But that night, I couldn't sleep. Something kept gnawing at me, some instinct I'd been suppressing. I lay there in the dark, listening to Jennifer's steady breathing beside me, and I felt the ground shifting beneath everything I thought I knew. I want to be clear about something. I'm not the jealous type. I'd never been that guy who checks his partner's phone or demands to know where she is every moment. I believed in trust as the foundation of marriage. I believed Jennifer when she said she loved me. I believed in us. So I fought against my own suspicions. I actively argued with myself, building cases for her innocence. The clothes, she's allowed to feel good about herself. The gym, healthy lifestyle changes are positive. The phone, everyone's addicted to their phones these days. The late work, she's dedicated to her career. The appointments, she works in dental care, she understands what proper treatment requires. I made excuses for her because the alternative was unthinkable. 2 weeks before the Bluetooth incident, I suggested we take a vacation. Just the two of us, maybe a long weekend in the San Juan Islands, reconnect a bit. We'd both been busy, ships passing in the night. "That sounds wonderful," Jennifer said, and she seemed genuinely enthusiastic. "Let me just check my schedule. I've got some appointments coming up that might be hard to reschedule." Those damn appointments. We planned it for 3 weeks out. She marked it on the calendar with little heart emojis. We talked about restaurants we'd try, hikes we'd take, maybe renting kayaks. I felt hopeful, like we were finding our way back to something solid. The day after we made those plans, she had another appointment with Dr. Marcus. She came home around 7 that evening, face flushed, energy high. "How was the appointment?" I asked from the couch, where I was watching a basketball game with Bailey at my feet. "Good. Marcus is just so thorough. He's checking some minor gum recession, wants to make sure it doesn't get worse. More appointments needed? Probably. But he's really on top of it." She kissed the top of my head and went upstairs to change. I heard the shower start again. She'd showered that morning before work. Why another shower after a dental appointment? Don't be paranoid, I told myself. Maybe the office was warm. Maybe she felt like freshening up. Stop looking for problems where there aren't any. I was so good at lying to myself. A week before everything imploded, Jennifer's behavior shifted slightly. She became more affectionate with me, more present. We'd have actual conversations at dinner instead of her being half distracted by her phone. We watched a movie together, her head on my shoulder like old times. We made love, and afterward she cried a little. "What's wrong?" I asked, concerned, stroking her hair. "Nothing. I love you, David. I really do." "I love you too." "I'm sorry," she whispered. "For what?" "I don't know. For being distracted lately, for not being fully present." I kissed her forehead. "It's okay. We're okay." She nodded against my chest, but her body felt tense. I thought maybe she was stressed about work or worried about something she wasn't telling me. I had no idea I was holding someone drowning in guilt, someone who'd gone too far to turn back. The next Tuesday, she had another appointment. And that Thursday, I offered to drive her to work because her car was making a strange noise, and I wanted our mechanic to check it out. She seemed hesitant, but agreed. I told her I'd pick her up after my meetings downtown. It was that drive home when the Bluetooth destroyed everything. Thursday, April 18th, the day my marriage died. I picked Jennifer up at 5:30 p.m. She came out of the dental office with her work bag, smiling, waving to someone inside. She slid into the passenger seat, leaned over to kiss my cheek. "Thanks for picking me up. Did the mechanic figure out what's wrong with my car?" "Loose belt. Easy fix. Should be done tomorrow." Perfect. We pulled into traffic. NPR was playing on the radio, some story about urban planning that I was half listening to. Jennifer was checking her phone, scrolling through something. Then her phone buzzed. A text message. And because her phone was still connected to my car's Bluetooth from the last time I'd driven her somewhere, the car's automated system did what it was designed to do. "Message from Dr. Marcus," the pleasant female voice announced through the car speakers. I felt Jennifer stiffen beside me. The voice continued, cheerful and robotic. "Can't wait to feel you again tonight, beautiful. Last week was incredible." Silence. The NPR story kept playing underneath, something about zoning laws. A car honked somewhere. The traffic light ahead of us turned green. I didn't move. My hands stayed at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. My foot stayed on the brake. I couldn't feel my body. It was like my consciousness had separated from my physical form, hovering somewhere above, watching this scene unfold like a movie I wasn't actually in. More honking. Louder now. "David," Jennifer said. Her voice sounded far away, underwater. "David, let me explain." The light was still green. Cars were going around us now, drivers gesturing angrily. It's not what it sounds like." I finally turned my head to look at her. Her face was white, eyes wide, phone clutched in both hands. She looked terrified. Good. She should be. "David, please, let's get out of traffic. Let's go somewhere and talk." My foot found the gas pedal. I drove, not toward home. Just drove. Through the city, past our usual exits, past familiar landmarks. Jennifer sat frozen beside me, occasionally opening her mouth to speak, then closing it. I pulled into a parking lot by the waterfront. Turned off the engine. Sat there staring out at the gray water, the boats bobbing at the marina. "How long?" My voice didn't sound like mine. "David, how long, Jennifer?" She was crying. I could hear it even though I wasn't looking at her. 3 months. 3 months. A quarter of a year. While I was planning our vacation, worrying about her health, complimenting her new gym routine, making love to her. 3 months. The appointments. Yes. There were no cavities, no gum recession. No, you've been fucking your dentist. She flinched at my language. I never talked like that. I was the calm one, the measured one. It wasn't supposed to happen. It just, don't. I held up my hand, still staring straight ahead. Don't tell me it just happened. You made appointments, you showered before seeing him, you lied to me every single day for 3 months. Those are choices, Jennifer. Active, deliberate choices. I know. God, David, I know. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I repeated. The word tasted like ash. Last week was incredible, beautiful. That's what his text said. What happened last week? Jennifer's silence told me everything. I watched a seagull land on a piling, watched it watch me, completely indifferent to the fact that my world was ending. Last Tuesday, I said slowly, pieces clicking into place. You had an appointment last Tuesday. You came home around 7, took a shower immediately. David, please. But that wasn't the incredible part he's talking about, was it? Last week. He said last week, last Thursday. I turned to face her finally. I worked late last Thursday. You said you were having a girls' night with Emma and Tracy. Her face crumpled. I'm so sorry. You weren't with Emma and Tracy. No. Where were you? She closed her eyes. Tears ran down her cheeks, ruining her carefully applied makeup. His apartment. Not the office. Not some random hotel. His apartment. A place she'd been to, knew her way around, felt comfortable enough to go to repeatedly. How many times, David? How many times have you been to his apartment, Jennifer? I don't know. Maybe 10 times? I don't. 10 times. I laughed, but it came out wrong, strangled. 10 times you told me you were somewhere else, with someone else, doing something else, while you were actually in another man's bed. It wasn't always his apartment. Sometimes it was. We'd go for drinks after work, or I don't care about the logistics. I cut her off. Here's what I need to know. Do you love him? She hesitated. That hesitation was somehow worse than everything else combined. I don't know, she finally whispered. I feel something for him, but I love you too. I never stopped loving you. This thing with Marcus, it's different. It's exciting, passionate, new. The words came out bitter, sharp. It's a mistake, she said desperately. David, it's a huge mistake. I can end it. I'll quit the practice. I'll never see him again. We can go to counseling. We can fix this. I stared at her. This woman I'd promised my life to. This woman I'd trusted completely. And I realized I didn't know her at all. Or maybe I'd never really looked. When you cried last week, I said quietly after we made love, you apologized. You said you were sorry for being distracted. She nodded, mascara streaming down her face. You'd just been with him, hadn't you? Earlier that day, another appointment. Yes, and you came home and slept with me anyway, while you were still thinking about him. No, was I a palate cleanser? A way to assuage guilt? Or were you just comparing us? David, stop. Please stop. But I couldn't stop. Everything was pouring out now, all the questions I'd suppressed, all the doubts I'd rationalized away. The new clothes, the gym, the more adventurous sex, all of that was for him, wasn't it? I was just the practice dummy. That's not fair? Fair? I turned to her fully now, and she actually recoiled from whatever she saw in my face. You want to talk about fair? I spent 3 months complimenting you, supporting you, loving you, while you were building a whole separate life with someone else. I bragged about you to my colleagues, my supportive, dedicated, passionate wife. And the whole time, you were passionate about him. She reached for my hand. I pulled away like she'd burned me. Don't touch me. David, please. I know I don't deserve it, but please. Let's talk about this. Really talk. I'll answer anything. I'll do anything. I don't want to lose you. I looked at her. really looked at her, and felt absolutely nothing. The woman I loved was gone. Maybe she'd never existed. This stranger in her skin, this person capable of such calculated deception, I didn't know her at all. "You already lost me," I said. "You lost me 3 months ago. You just didn't bother to tell me. That text message." If her phone hadn't been connected to my car's Bluetooth, if Dr. Marcus had been less cocky, more careful with his words, if I'd taken a different route, if the timing had been different, I'd still be living in the lie, blissfully ignorant, the fool husband who never suspected a thing. Part of me wishes I never knew. That's the thought that haunted me over the following days. Ignorance wasn't bliss. It was just delayed pain. But at least in ignorance, I could still sleep at night. I drove us home in silence. Jennifer tried several times to restart the conversation, but I didn't respond. What was there to say? She'd laid out the whole sordid truth in that parking lot. 3 months. 10 visits to his apartment. Countless lies. A whole secret relationship built on my blind trust. When we got home, Bailey ran to greet us like always, tail wagging, completely unaware that his family was disintegrating. I knelt down and buried my face in his fur for a moment, the only genuine thing left in my life. "I'll sleep in the guest room," Jennifer said quietly behind me. I didn't argue. That night, I lay in our bed, my bed now, I guess, staring at the ceiling. I couldn't cry. I wanted to, felt like I should, but the tears wouldn't come. Just this vast emptiness where my life used to be. My phone buzzed. A text from Jennifer, 1 room away. "I'm so sorry. I know that doesn't mean anything right now, but I am. I love you. I never wanted to hurt you." I deleted it without responding. The next morning, I called in sick to work. Couldn't imagine sitting in meetings, pretending everything was normal. Jennifer had already left early. I heard her moving around at 6 a.m., then the front door closing quietly. Running to Marcus to tell him they'd been discovered? Crying on his shoulder about her ruined marriage? I didn't know, and discovered I didn't care. I sat at the kitchen table with coffee I couldn't taste, and started making lists. Practical things: lawyer, separate bank accounts. Who keeps the house? Who keeps Bailey? Division of assets. 6 years of marriage reduced to logistics. My phone rang. Jennifer. I didn't answer. She called 3 more times. Texted, "Please talk to me. We need to discuss what happens next." What happens next? Like this was a project to manage, a problem to solve. I called a divorce attorney. Made an appointment for Monday. Started documenting everything I could remember. Dates, timeline, the text message I'd heard. The attorney would need details. Jennifer came home that evening, around 6. I was in the home office, laptop open, working on a spreadsheet of our assets. "David," she called from downstairs. "Are you home?" I didn't answer. She appeared in the doorway, looking exhausted. She'd been crying, her eyes were red and swollen. "We need to talk." "I have an appointment with a divorce attorney Monday morning," I said, not looking up from the screen. "I'd suggest you get one too." "David, please don't do this. Not yet. Can't we at least try counseling?" "No." "Just like that? 6 years and you won't even try to work through this?" I finally looked at her. "You didn't try to work through whatever was missing in our marriage before you started fucking someone else. You made your choice 3 months ago. I'm just catching up." I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. A mistake is double booking dinner plans. What you did was build an entire relationship with another man while lying to my face every single day. Those are hundreds of deliberate choices, Jennifer, not a mistake. Choices. She was crying again, but I felt nothing. That scared me more than anything, the absolute absence of feeling. "I ended it," she said desperately. "I told Marcus this morning, it's over. I quit the practice. I'm done, completely done. I'm choosing you, David. I'm choosing our marriage. You don't get to choose anymore. That option expired when you chose him the first time, and the second time, and the 10th time. So that's it? You're just giving up? The audacity of that statement, her accusing me of giving up, actually made me laugh. I'm not giving up, Jennifer. I'm accepting reality. You gave up on us the first time you kissed him. Every time after that, you just dug the grave deeper. I'm just acknowledging that our marriage is already dead, has been for 3 months. I'm just the last one to know. She stood there in the doorway, tears streaming, looking lost. I waited for sympathy to kick in, for love to override my anger, for some instinct to comfort her. Nothing came. I was empty. I'll stay with my sister for a while, she finally said. Give you space. But David, please, don't make any permanent decisions yet, please. I turned back to my spreadsheet. Take whatever you need. I'll have my attorney contact you. I heard her footsteps retreat. Heard her moving around upstairs, packing a bag. Heard the front door close. Heard her car start and drive away. Bailey came and put his head on my lap, sensing something wrong. I petted him mechanically, staring at the columns of numbers that represented our demolished life together. In the weeks that followed, as I moved through the mechanical process of dismantling my marriage, I had a lot of time to think. Too much time. Alone in that house that still smelled like her perfume, still had her coffee mug in the sink, still had her book on the nightstand, I've identified 3 critical lessons from this nightmare. 3 things I wish I'd understood before I found myself frozen at a green light, listening to another man's desire for my wife broadcast through my car speakers. First, trust without verification isn't trust, it's willful blindness. I'm not saying become a paranoid stalker who monitors your partner's every move. But there's a difference between healthy trust and putting your head in the sand. When the dental appointments became excessive, when her behavior changed noticeably, when my gut was screaming that something was wrong, I should have asked harder questions. Not accusations, but genuine, direct questions. This seems like a lot of appointments for preventive care. Can you help me understand what's actually going on? I gave her too much benefit of the doubt because I was afraid of seeming controlling or jealous. I prioritized appearing like a good, trusting husband over protecting myself. That was stupid. Second, when someone shows you who they are, believe them immediately. Jennifer's willingness to lie consistently for 3 months, to look me in the eye and fabricate elaborate stories, to plan secret meetings while planning a vacation with me, that revealed her character. Not the person I thought I married, but who she actually was when tested. When she hesitated before answering whether she loved Marcus, that was my answer. When she tried to make her affair my fault by suggesting I was giving up on the marriage, that was my answer. Character is revealed under pressure. She revealed hers. I should have accepted that information instantly instead of waiting for her to somehow transform back into the woman I thought she was. Third, and this is the one that kills me, you can do everything right and still lose. I was a good husband. I supported her career, encouraged her interests, stayed faithful, communicated openly, planned for our future together. None of that mattered. None of that protected me, because her cheating had nothing to do with my shortcomings and everything to do with her choices. That's a hard truth to swallow, that you can be a great partner and still get destroyed. There's no formula that guarantees safety. No amount of being good enough that makes you immune to betrayal. Some people will betray you simply because the opportunity arose and they wanted to take it. That's not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their character. The divorce proceedings were surprisingly quick. Oregon is a no-fault state, so proving infidelity didn't matter legally, though my attorney documented it anyway. Jennifer didn't fight. She signed everything, accepted the settlement terms, took her half and disappeared. I heard through mutual friends that she and Marcus didn't last. Apparently, whatever passion existed in secrecy evaporated in daylight. They broke up about 2 months after she moved out. She tried to reach out to me when that happened, a long email about how she'd made a terrible mistake, how she understood now what she'd lost, how she wished she could undo everything. I deleted it without reading past the first paragraph. There was nothing she could say that would matter. The woman I married wouldn't have done what she did. This stranger wearing her face had nothing to offer me. 6 months after the Bluetooth incident, the divorce was final. I signed the papers in my attorney's office, shook his hand, walked out into bright summer sunshine. I was single, 34 years old, and starting over from nothing. I should have felt something. Relief, anger, grief, anything. But I was still empty. I'm sitting in a different house now. Smaller, newer, no memories soaked into the walls. Bailey's asleep on the couch beside me. It's Thursday evening, almost 8 months since everything fell apart. I've got a glass of whiskey I'm not really drinking, and I'm trying to figure out if I'll ever be capable of trusting anyone again. People say time heals. Maybe it does. But I don't think I'll ever be the person I was before that text message. That David died at a green light on a Thursday afternoon, and whoever I am now is someone different. Someone harder. Someone who doesn't believe in fairy tales anymore. I went on a date last month. Nice woman, met through friends, nothing serious. When she asked why my last relationship ended, I gave the standard vague answer. We grew apart. She didn't push. But sitting across from her, watching her smile, listening to her talk about her job and her hobbies and her dreams, all I could think was, how long until you destroy me too? That's what Jennifer took. Not just our marriage, but my ability to be open, to be vulnerable, to believe that love isn't just a temporary arrangement until someone more exciting comes along. Some nights, I wonder if I should have tried counseling with her. Fought harder to save what we had, given her a second chance. Most nights, though, I know I made the right call. You can't rebuild on a foundation that rotten. You can't unknow what someone's capable of. And I could never look at her again without hearing that Bluetooth voice. Can't wait to feel you again tonight, beautiful. My therapist says I'm processing healthily. Not seeking revenge, not spiraling into bitterness, just processing, moving through it. But here's what I haven't told him. I don't think I'm moving through anything. I think I'm just existing in this new reality, where I understand that the person you love most can become a stranger without warning. Where I love you doesn't mean safety. Where 6 years can be discarded for 3 months of excitement with a dentist who sends sexy texts. Maybe someday I'll be ready to try again. To open up, to trust, to build something real with someone. Maybe someday the emptiness will fade and I'll feel something other than this, echoing nothing. Or maybe this is just who I am now. The man who walks away. The man who doesn't fight back, doesn't rage, doesn't seek justice or revenge. The man who just vanishes into the quiet spaces between what was and what might have been. I pour the whiskey down the sink. Pet Bailey one more time. Turn off the lights and sit in the darkness of this new house, this new life, this new version of myself I never wanted to become. And I wonder, when love fails this completely, this devastatingly, without warning or reason or logic, when you do everything right and still end up alone, what's the point of ever trying again? Is it braver to risk that pain a second time, or braver to acknowledge that some things, once broken, can never be whole? I don't have an answer, just the silence, just the dark, just this hollow space where my heart used to be. Okay, that's it for this one. Alex here. I'm leaving this one up to you guys. What is your takeaway here? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget, if you want your story told on the channel, send it over to the email in the description. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow with another story. Peace.